So in essence, it is a database of poor and vulnerable households that are in our state. And like I said, it's always a work in progress. So we have not gotten to a level whereby we now say, oh, we now have the database of everybody that is poor and vulnerable in the state. However, we started this exercise about 5 or 6 years ago, and as of today, we have in our database over 200,000 households that we see as poor and vulnerable households. And I'm also glad to tell us that our government over the last 5 years has also been doing a lot to reach to these people so as to ensure that they have a better life. I give, for instance, at a point we have collaboration with the federal government agency in Ondo State, National Directorate of Employment, whereby we take about 500 individuals from our SR. We mine them from the SR and we take them to College of Agriculture here in Akure. They were in that school for 3 months. We trained them on 10 different skill sets so that at the end of the day they can become the employer of labor and not somebody that will be looking for job. That's one instance. The other instance is that we also have some people in our register that are classified as aged, which government, both at the state level and at the federal level, also provide what we call cash transfer to them. And so these are the set of people that we have in our register. Of course, like I said, it's a work in progress. We have been doing this now for the past 5 years, but we also realize the fact that when the federal government removes subsidy on fuel and some of those policy, there are what we call unintended consequences. When government take on certain reform or certain program, the intention is not to punish anybody. However, in economics, we realize that there's what we call unintended consequence, something that just happened that it was not the idea that government actually want, but it eventually happened. And so that's why we now have this social register as a database or as a safety net that we now use to reach out to the poor and vulnerable household. And if you ask me, what is the nexus between this register and businesses? Because the whole essence of the reaching out to those people through maybe cash transfer, through labor intensive work, whereby those young men that maybe they are not certificated, we give them some job that they will be doing in the early hour of the day, like maybe the first 3 hours of the day. They will do it. Then we give them stipend. We also encourage them to also learn some skill that they can also rely upon permanently. So in essence, once they receive this money, I'm talking about the nexus between the register and the businesses. So when you have these people that are poor and vulnerable, you know that their consumption will be very, very low. And the thing that will stimulate the people that is producing good is that when you produce something and people buy it, then you are encouraged to do more. But if you have a business and you are producing and people cannot buy from you, then if eventually you may see that the business will close up. So for instance, now those agents that we give cash transfer to, when they receive that cash transfer, they don't put it under their pillow. They will eventually use it to buy certain goods or services. So at the end of the day, it will now stimulate the local economy. For instance, we also have some youth that are involved with what we call labor intensive public work. These are people that are not certificated. We also give them some stipend. When they collect this stipend, they don't keep it under their pillow. They eventually use this stipend or whether cash transfer to also buy goods or services. And with that stimulates the local economy. In the last few years, we have over 2 billion naira that has been paid out as cash transfer in Ondo State here. So, and this money, when those people are paid, is not kept under their pillow. So they use it to buy goods or services. And once that happens, it also stimulates the local economy, and that ensures that we have our economy become more robust. The producer will want to produce more because somebody has buy goods and services from them. So that's what we are doing.
Okay, I'm very sure not many people are aware of this initiative, and now we are talking about its expansion. You know, recently it is well known to the public, and talking about you also have something, a seminar, stakeholders seminar recently to talk about this expansion. There we understand that Ondo State is at the mini status, talking about people getting to key into this initiative. And so what is this expansion all about? Okay,
let me say that Ondo State is not in a demeaning situation.
Okay.
The challenge we have in terms of poverty, in terms of people not gainfully employed, is not peculiar to Ondo State alone. It's something that we can even call it a global phenomenon. However, it is being addressed in our state. Now, when we started, like I said, we have over 200,000 households. And the question may be, how do we get to this household? This house is not as if my office, the State Operation Coordinating Unit, which is under the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, is not as if we on our own just bring up this figure. Now, the process has been contracted to the local government and the communities. So we have what we call community-based targeted team member. They work in the local government and they goes to all the community. They interact with the people, and the people themselves identify those that they consider to be poor and vulnerable among them. Now we want to expand the register. We want to go out to see whether we can see there's people that can also be identified as poor and vulnerable, and we know they are. There's nowhere you will get to. In fact, poverty can never be totally eradicated, but from time to time we try to, as much as possible, to bring it to the BRS minimum. So now that we are planning to go back to the communities, we appreciate the fact that local government, they are subnational government, and we believe that all these communities that we are talking about, they reside in this local government. So, and we feel that it is very much appropriate to also bring the local government chairmen in Ondo State together, discuss the modality or the modus operandi of carrying out this assignment with them, so that they can also key into it. For instance, at the national level, we have what we call National Social Register. Now, if you ask me, there's nothing like National Social Register, because it is just the amalgamation of the register from all the 36 states and Abuja that form the National Social Register. Now, if we are talking of Ondo State Social Register, we know that this is amalgamation of the register or people that has been identified in the 18 local government area. So the need for ownership of the social register by the local government authority is very, very important, and it's very, very paramount. So if you go out and you are collecting those vital statistics from the member of the community without the inputs or without the collaboration of the local government chairman, then the implication is that there will be no ownership, and we actually want ownership. Now, I've said earlier on that the state government has been doing all it can do to ensure that people that we have in our register, they receive cash transfer under the what we call NG Care that is funded by the state government. They also receive cash transfer from the Renew Hope cash transfer, which is being paid by the federal government. Now, nothing stopped the local government on their own to also feel that, oh, so cool, yes, we know that you have come to our local government, you have identified a number of people, but we want to reach out to the widow, we want to reach out to the orphan in our local government. There's nothing stopping the local government from doing that. But for us to encourage them to do that, it's also very important that they also are aware about the process that culminated into having the register. And so we see the local government chairman as one of our critical stakeholders, and that's why we have invited them to Akure 3 days ago. We have rubbed minds together, and the whole essence is for them to own the register. Of course, the state government is going to pay for the expansion. The state government is doing that on its own. But for us to be able to, for the local government to be able to do intervention after the register must have been concluded, they need to be aware of the process that will lead to this expansion. I also want to highlight the fact that, taking care of the poor and vulnerable is not just the business of government alone. So we are calling on people of goodwill all over the world, wherever they may be listening to us. For us, caring for the poor and vulnerable, we cannot leave it to government alone. So there is a limit. Government also have limited capacity, okay? But where we know that more than individual, they can do so much, but they also need people from outside to also partner with us. For instance, as I'm here now, if somebody is in United States now or anywhere in the world, listening to us, if you want, you know that God has blessed you and you want to reach out to poor and vulnerable in your community, you can reach us, so that we give you the database. Is it orphan that you want to support? Is it widow that you want to support? Is it aged people that you want to support? So we have all of this database with us, so they can partner with us, so that our people life can be better. Let me, if you allow me, I want to give an illustration. If we know, for any society to claim civilization, to claim that they are civilized, such a society must care for the poor and vulnerable within them. If you have a society that neglects the poor and vulnerable, such a society cannot lay claim to civilization. And this was clearly elucidated in a particular instances whereby some students, they were asking their professor that at what point in history can we say society become civilized? So some people were expecting the professor to talk about, the invention of aeroplane, the building of skyscraper, and the building of big bridge. But the professor said no, that's not. There is still certain thing that is better than all of this, that you can say that society becomes civilized. They now say, at what point in history can we? It's now said that a society becomes civilized when a member of the society become injured, and the member of the society put him in a place, not such a person back to life. He said that is actually when we can say society becomes civilized. He now said that this can be better explained if you look at what happened in the jungle. You know, as strong as lion is in the jungle, if a lion cope an injury, that is, if a lion become injured, such a lion face a certain death for two reasons. Number one, that lion will not be able to hunt again. He will not be able to go to the stream to drink water and address. In fact, such lion, as strong as it is, will also become a prey to other animal. So that is why that in the jungle, when an animal become injured, such animal face a certain death. But in case of human being, our member of the society will not leave us. They will take us, put us in a place, care for us, and nurse us back to life. He said when that started, that is the apogee of civilization. That's why we can say society become civilized. And the moral of this is that as of today, if we have people in our society that we feel that they are poor, they are vulnerable, society has a duty. Individual member of the society also has a duty to care for such persons. So we are calling on people of goodwill, wherever they may be in the world, to partner with Ondo Soku so that we can reach out to poor and vulnerable households within our community. Like as I've pointed out earlier on, government is doing a lot in this regard. We are paying people under the NG care in the state. The federal government is also doing a lot in terms of renewable cash transfer, but we know that we still have some limited capacity to do more than what we are currently doing. And so this is why we are calling on people that they should feel free to partner with us.
Okay, on that your appeal, I'm going to say, you know, people believe that this SSR is only useful for governments and NGOs. So how can, you know, a philanthropist, or let me say, how can a business benefit economically from this register, before we talk about how a philanthropist can tap into the initiative?
Now, you are asking me how the business can benefit. I give an instance. When we go to this community to identify the poor and vulnerable household, I want to tell us that most of these people in this category, they don't have bank accounts. They are not earning income, so they don't have bank account. And when we identify them, based on the financial inclusion policy of the federal government, we now go to the bank, we partner with the bank, and this bank open a wallet account for them. They open a wallet account for them, and those money that I have talked about the other time, that over 2 billion naira in recent months has been paid into this account, private individual account, those beneficiary account, not government account now. So evidently those banks too, they are making some money no matter how small. You know, when we talk about, you know, only very few people make huge daily consumption in terms of money they spend. You know, it is a little drop from here, a little drop from here, there, that also ensure that the business around us run. So I'm just using a bank as instance now. So if you are using a bank to disburse about 2 billion naira to individual people, you know there's a margin that at least they will retain in terms of those cost of transaction that they take from these people. So if you look at it from that perspective, you can now say that, oh, banking sectors, they are also getting something to do that. As we speak today, I have a lot of my friends in the bank. They are even appealing to us that, oh, when we start your expansion, we want to partner with you. We know those people, they are poor and vulnerable, they don't have bank account. We want to open accounts for them. So if you look at it from that perspective, it is helping business. Now, if you go to a local community, if an elderly person has gotten about 10,000 naira cash transfer, if that person will not keep that money in his account, he will go and buy pap, he will go and buy rice, he will go and buy all those things. So those two are businesses too. So in such a way, the local economy is stimulated, and it also ensures that we have growth in our economy, because the first thing is to actually stimulate consumption. Those people that buy those, that receive those stipend, their consumption will be stimulated. They will buy something, and when they buy something, the person that is producing those things is also encouraged to produce more. So in such a way, it also ensures that the local economy is stimulated.
Okay, now we are still going to talk more about the ethical and legal framework guiding the use of SSR. But first, let's look at how often do you think it is appropriate to update this register, or are there instances whereby someone who has benefited from this initiative before has been, you know, removed from the SSR to accommodate new beneficiaries? So
very well, let me take for instance, now we have what we call labor intensive public work, which is dedicated to our youth, those that didn't have certificate. They are made to do some manual labors, and we pay them. Now, like I said, it's a stopgap. It's not something that we'll be doing forever. So we put them there maybe for a year. We are paying them stipend on monthly basis. We also encourage them that if you are those labor intensive work that you do it between the first 3 hours of the day, go back and learn some skill that you can fall upon later. So there is exit strategies. So by the time they spend a year on the program, we exited them. Sometimes it is 2 years, we exited them, and before we exited them, we ensure that they've already learned a skill that they can follow upon. And like you have also said, so we cannot be doing that on a permanent basis. And like you said, we are going for expansion now. When we complete the expansion, if there are opportunity to, if some people have enjoyed it for a relatively period of time, it is only fair that we also ensure that those new people that are captured, they also made to benefit in a way. So there's an exit strategy, so that at least if we said that those youths, they don't have job, we are taking them on labor intensive public work, and they are doing that work. So it is expected that they are also learning the trade, maybe barbing, maybe fashion designing, maybe all of those skills. So if they have learned those such skill, there must be exit strategy, so they cannot be there forever. So we have an exit strategy that will ensure that people that are on it, after some time they are exited, so that we can bring in some other people.
Are there any ethical or
of course there is
framework guiding the use?
There's ethical, there's a legal framework, good enough. I think I am a lawyer too. So now we have what we
That's why I asked the question.
We have what we call a Data Protection Act. So we have Data Protection Act. For instance, we go to all the 18 local government, over 2,500 community, we have gotten the data from them. So we are bound by the provision of Data Protection Act, because it's not anybody. You cannot just come to me now and say that, oh, you need the data of so person. You know, I remember sometimes ago somebody wrote to us, he wrote to our office that, oh, he want the database of a particular community. We said no. We are guided by that Data Protection Act. If we have gotten some people data, nobody can just come to us without any genuine reason to now say that we should give it. Because if we float those acts, those protection that has been given to those people whose data are with us, then we have issue. So of course there is also ethical consideration about those data. Just like we have the legal framework, we also have ethical protection. So if we have gotten that, like there are people that have said that people have been paid, though not my office, but we have state cash transfer unit that is in charge of this payment. So it also ethically now, we are also not bound to come here and be mentioning that, oh, we are mentioning people name that this person has received. But if somebody genuinely wants data, then we know and we can provide it. But ethically, we should not be seen to be mentioning people's name. But if people have genuine reason or basis to now ask us that we want to know, then we can give them. So there is hardly anything that we are doing in this world that we are not bound by ethical. There are ethics that's guiding every profession, every act that we are doing. So we have ethical consideration. For instance, we have people that are working with us in the local government to capture this data. We don't expect them to go there and collect money from anybody. Those are part of the ethics that we are banded with when we are doing this our job. We have over 200 people working with us in the 18 local government. So we don't expect that when they get to this community, when they are doing the capturing, it is forbidden for them to now go to those people to be saying that, oh, because there is going to be opportunity for you, give us 1,000 naira so that we can capture you. Those are ethical issues that our people or everybody working with SOCU, we are banned by them, and we don't expect anybody to float such ethical consideration. Okay,
like I said in the beginning, I said not many people are aware of this initiative. So what will be your parting shots, particularly for those who are potential beneficiaries but don't really believe? You know, we have this kind of mentality that we don't believe in. We don't easily buy off. Especially in things like this. So what would be your parting shot?
My parting shot is to, first of all, to appreciate you and the Osrc for this great privilege that has been accorded us to come and speak to our people. In any case, we are partner in progress. We are the Osrc and my office. We are serving the people of this state, and so I want to appreciate the privileges that has been given to me to come and speak here. So when we started this thing some years back, you know, people believe, oh, it's a lie, it's not going to happen. I'm a technocrat, I work for government. I also know that we have what we call trust deficit. There's that gap between our people and government generally. So, but I believe that over the years, people within the community, they have seen they are a member of their community who have benefited from this effort. And so today now, it's even a challenge to us now. Because if you get to any community now, nearly everybody in that community want to be part of the register, because people now understand that someday opportunity will come from this register that is being provided. I can assure you that member of the community, because they have seen people among them who have been benefiting from this gesture from government, they will want to be part of the process. And I also want to use this opportunity to tell them that we are not asking them to give us any information via the social media, because we know that while government is striving to ensure that people are well taken care of, the criminals, they are also lurking behind the scene to also try to please the people by asking people to click onto a particular link or not. So we are asking them that they should not send anything to us on social media. Our community-based agency team member based in each of the 18 local government, they will be coming to those community, and the process is simple. The first thing is a sensitization. Our CBT team in the local government, they will first visit the leader of the community, maybe BANKOLE or KBC, informing them about what they want to do, asking them to tell the member of the community of a particular day which the community has agreed for them to come. So it is in that process that whatever that statistic or data that is required will be harvested. So we are telling people that they should not click any link as far as this issue of benefiting from social register or card transfer is concerned. Our community-based agency team member, they are in the 18 local government, and at the appropriate time they will come to them. The next thing to do now, like I said about 3 days ago, we have stakeholder engagement with the local government chairman. The next thing that we want to do now is the refresher training for the CBT team member. So because we have been training them, but of course we have to continually do this, because if you get to our community, if you don't use the appropriate choice of word, those people that you are supposed to capture, you will not capture them. I give an instance. If you get to a community and you now tell them, let me speak in Yoruba, Tani Oshin Tambi, who is poor here, they will say, I reject it in Jesus' name. So we have to train them on the appropriate choice of word they will use when they get to the community, so that they can elicit the right information. And like I also say, we are also telling them, even those of them that can speak the local dialect, we want them to speak the local dialect to those community members, because when you get to a community now and you speak their language, they will familiarize themselves. Yes. Whatever information you need will be provided. So all of this we have been telling our community-based agency team members. So we are hoping to train them in another 1 week. After the training, then we'll deploy them to the communities to continue the expansion. So once again, I want to thank you and the management of Osrc for these great privileges that has been accorded us to come and speak to our people.
Okay, Mr. Barrister BANKOLE, thank you so much for being part of today's edition of Business Today. It is clear that the SSR is no longer just a database, it's a dynamic development infrastructure with real economic promise. To our business leaders watching today, the expansion of the state social register is a call to innovate, to collaborate, and to drive inclusive growth. For more information on how your business can responsibly leverage this resource, we encourage you to reach out to the State Operation Coordinating Unit. Thank you for watching, and this has been Business Today. My name is Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajayi. Until next week, stay blessed.